So my friend had this 96 Mustang GT. I really liked the car. He was wanting to sell it. It had almost 200,000 miles on it, and he said it was eating a lot of oil, and he wanted a replacement 4.6 for it. And so it was actually funny because my friend said that his friend pulled a 4.6 out of this car to put an LS turbo in there and go play in the sand with it. And he had a 4.6 that he wanted to give me. And so I went to his shop, and this is a silver Trans Am that my other friend owns. They're at the shop getting a new engine rebuild, new cam, stuff like that. This car was always a really fun car. Over the last 10, 15 years, we've played with this car on and off. Made 526 to the wheels with the LS3 out of a Corvette. My friend's other Z28 here, I think it had a turbo on it, and he bought the car out of Las Vegas and took the turbo kit off and is playing around with it and stuff. And so it's always fun to go to his shop and look around, and he's got a couple lifts now and stuff. And there's a lot of projects he's been doing, like this Boss 302 intake manifold on this Coyote. This Coyote engine is going to be a Coyote swap for a really nice 1969 Mustang Fastback. It looks like a Boss 429. It has the scoop and everything, but it's not. I think it says like Boss something on the side there, like 5 something. So it might have a bigger engine in it, but the owner wants to do the Coyote swap in this car. He had a really nice, I want to say it was an emerald green 69 Mach 1 that was really original, and he didn't want to Coyote swap that car, so he sold it and bought this one, or however he had this one. But anyway, so it was kind of fun to see that. So got the engine from his shop, got it back to my house, and just started the process of getting the engine hoist out and getting everything ready. Now, my friend sold that 96 GT, so I don't really have a use for this, and this is a non-PI engine, so that's performance improved heads. This is the 96 to 98 Mustang GT style engine. It has the aluminum intake manifold out of that Crown Vic, which was an earlier thing. So you'll see this is a 93 engine. I'll show you the barcode on the valve cover, but luckily it's late enough that it still has the good starter location, so it would work in a Mustang, because the earlier ones only had like a 2-bolt starter and stuff, from what I understand. But this is, from what I understand, a perfectly good PI engine that would work in a Mustang. And so just getting everything all ready to go in the garage, getting the hoist out, getting the engine stands out. I had a Texid block on my engine stand that I had to take off and stuff. But I did end up getting it here into the garage where I could work on it, and I just wanted to clean it up. The biggest issue was when they pulled this engine out, they spilled coolant into the spark plug holes. So where those ignition leads go down in, those were full of coolant, and it was sitting like that, and some of it was seeping. There's the 93 barcode, might even be a 94, depending on what year it made it into the car. But anyway, the cylinder walls, you can see there's a little bit of light rust forming where the coolant had seeped down the sides of the cylinder walls. So I poured some Marvel oil in there and let it sit, and then rotated it, pulled all the spark plugs out obviously, and filled them with some Marvel oil and rotated the engine. And you want to be careful with that because you'll have fluid in there and it could hydrolock if you don't get it all out. So cylinders looked a lot better after that. It just cleaned them up really nicely. I might have just been able to rotate it and clean it up, but I wanted to have some lubrication in there. So that's just what I did. And you can see the cylinder walls look really good, still cross hatching on them and everything. It was a lower mile engine, and the car came from the guy's grandmother. It was just kind of driven around town, nothing serious. So it was, from what he told me, a perfectly good running engine. So just wanted to take off this aluminum intake manifold and clean the engine up a little bit and stuff. And it's always fun to start disassembling engines and see what you find. And it seems to be a pretty common issue on these 4.6s to find little rodent nests underneath the intake manifold, and that's what I did find here. So I'll show you what that is. But This is an interesting intake manifold. Ford went to the plastic ones in the later years, so it's kind of interesting to see this, and I'm sure it was just a cost thing because this is a really nice piece, and you're not going to have the cracking issue that the other intake manifolds have with the plastic. And so a lot of times people will have the coolant crossovers crack on these, and then they run low on coolant and blow a head gasket or have overheating issues and stuff. And so from what I understand, that intake manifold being all aluminum is actually a pretty good safe feature to have in the car. So here's what I found down inside here. Looked kind of gross, but not too bad. Cleaned it all out, and I decided I really wanted to clean up this engine and clean the tops of the ports here. See, this is what it used to look like, just kind of dirty from all the years of driving, and nothing uncommon here, but wanted to clean the block out a little bit, and then just rotate the crank and make sure that those cylinder walls cleaned up nicely, which they did, and it still had oil in it and everything, and I just wanted to drain the oil and see what it looked like, obviously looking for any coolant or water in there, and we'll see how it comes out. This is always the test, right? People always say this is the moment of truth. I had a Mustang with a blown head gasket, and it poured straight water out for like 30 straight seconds. It was crazy. I have that in one of my other videos. But anyway, let's see what comes out here. Get the oil pan bolt loose. All right, here we go, and nice and clean, just normal oil coming out. And like my friend had said, this engine only came out to put that LS engine in it. So it was his grandma's car. So I turned it upside down, some more coolant and stuff came out of it, and I drained a lot of the Marvel oil out of it that way. I did shop vac the Marvel oil out too with a straw, and so just kind of wanted to let it sit upside down and drain a little more. So now it's on to taking off the oil pan. And so what I was explaining in this part of the video was that if you feel bad about going to get a hamburger somewhere and you use the bag for like 30 seconds and then throw the bag away, keep the bag and you can put oil pan bolts in it because it's paper and it'll help absorb the oil and it'll be another use for it. So I'm going to take off this oil pan and look inside. The pickup tube is kind of in a tighter spot on these from what, kind of had to turn it to get it off. There we go. So very clean inside, no carnage, no milky blown head gasket, anything. And I really wanted to look inside the oil pickup tube and see if there were any pieces of the timing chains guides in there, any metal or anything, because sometimes the 4.6s have that issue. And so oil pan looked pretty good inside, pretty clean for what it is, and inside everything looked all right. So nice looking engine in here. Here's the oil pickup tube. Just had a little bit of stuff in there, but nothing serious. Probably just some gasket material or whatever. But timing chains look good. The guides looked good. I didn't see any broken pieces or anything wrong with it. I'm trying to zoom in there. That's a good way to look in here without having to take the timing cover off. So yeah, everything looked pretty good. Sometimes you'll find chunks of the timing chain guides in that oil pickup tube, and they're just stuck in there from breaking off. But all the pistons look good. The rod caps look good. I didn't see any, just had the normal tiny bit of play between each that they're supposed to have. And so we'll go ahead and rotate it here on video. There we go. Looks good. Everything's smooth, just as it should be from a car, a running car. So anyway, I was going to put this in that 96 GT, but then that car sold, and so I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. Now, a lot of guys will actually take these because they have higher compression bottom end, and they'll put the PI heads on or even just the PI cams, and they'll make some better power out of them. So it's actually a good little bottom end. And so I thought it'd be a good idea while it's upside down to spray some brake cleaner up in the cylinder holes and, clean out some more of that Marvel oil and whatever while it's upside down. So I just sprayed that all out and shot it and everything. And so if you're wondering what the spark plugs look like, and to know that they weren't wet or anything, it was just coolant on top of them. You can see they all came out really nice. They actually look really good. So nice little engine, and like I was saying, I was going to put it in that 96 GT, but it sold, so don't really have any plans for it at the moment. I had actually offered it to my friend for his 96 GT first, and said, hey, you can have this free if you want it, and my friend was offering it, and he said he had nowhere to put it, and my friend was just going to scrap it, so I took it. So anyway, that's the update on this engine, just kind of what I'm doing around the house and hanging out in the garage and stuff. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.